I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here we are. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 8 years now. To give you some background, we got married young, thought we had a pretty solid relationship. And honestly, for the most part, we did. We had our fights, but nothing too crazy until about 6 months ago. That's when I started noticing little things that didn't sit right. First, she started acting weird about her phone, always keeping it close, hiding the screen when I walked into the room, and sometimes deleting messages or calls. At first, I shrugged it off. Maybe she was just talking to a friend or planning a surprise or something. But the more I watched her, the more obvious it became she was hiding something. She'd also be really defensive if I asked about her phone or her whereabouts. That's when I started feeling paranoid, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Then, about 2 weeks ago, she started going to therapy. She insisted it was just for stress and that she needed some help working through her issues. She's a pretty, bitchy person, always rolling her eyes, dismissive and quick to flip the blame on everyone else. So I didn't think much of it at the beginning, just thought she was trying to fix our marriage. But the pattern of her being distant, secretive and defensive kept growing. Then came the biggest sign. Last week, I was in the living room doing some work on my laptop when I noticed her phone sitting on the coffee table, unlocked. I never usually check her stuff, but I was curious. Plus, I'd caught her lying about where she was going a few times. I took a quick glance and saw a text conversation that made my stomach drop. It was with a guy named Ryan. The messages were pretty explicit, talking about meeting up, stuff about sex, and even some dirty talk. It was obvious they'd been hooking up. What freaked me out even more was that she'd been texting him during our supposed family therapy sessions. I peeked at her calendar, and sure enough, she'd been claiming she was in her sessions, but I could see her messages pop up on her phone every now and then. So, I looked a little closer, and that's when I noticed a recent call log, one that showed a missed call from a number I didn't recognize. But what's worse, it was from a contact saved under her therapist's contact info. And I knew this was no coincidence. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I had this gnawing feeling that something was seriously wrong. I decided to dig a little deeper. I went through her messages again and found a string of texts with Ryan, mostly talking about meeting up, some about the sessions and how she'd sneak away. The more I read, the more I saw a pattern emerging. She was cheating on me with this guy, and she'd been doing it for months, all while pretending everything was fine. All the while, she'd been lying through her teeth about the therapy, about where she was, about who she was with. It was like my wife, the woman I trusted, had turned into a complete stranger. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. My entire world was crashing down around me. I couldn't believe she had lied so blatantly betrayed me. I felt this rush of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak all at once. I couldn't even sleep that night, just kept replaying everything I'd seen. And the worst part, I didn't even know how to confront her. Do I just accuse her outright? Do I gather more evidence? I felt so lost, so betrayed, and so furious. The woman I married was cheating on me with some guy she met during therapy, a process she had insisted was for us, for our marriage's sake. I knew I couldn't keep this bottled up forever. Whatever came next, I had to face it. I just never thought I'd be the guy to find out his wife was cheating on him during supposed couples therapy. It was a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. The next day was a blur. I stayed up most of the night, trying to process what I'd uncovered. I kept staring at her phone, her messages, the calls. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to confront her right then or just keep quiet and gather more evidence. But deep down, I knew I couldn't keep pretending everything was normal. I had to face her, confront her, get some answers, no matter how much it was going to hurt. Lisa was in the kitchen when I finally decided to approach her. She was making her usual snide remarks, acting like she didn't have a care in the world. I was so furious I could barely speak. I just looked at her and said, "Who is Ryan?" The moment those words left my mouth, her face froze. She spun around, suddenly looking like a deer caught in headlights. "Oh God," I said, feeling my voice shake. "Don't play stupid with me. I saw your messages. I know you've been sleeping with him." "During our therapy sessions, Lisa, how long has this been going on?" She rolled her eyes and scoffed. Oh, come on, Mike, you're being paranoid, you're overthinking everything. Ryan is just a friend, it's nothing serious. You're blowing this out of proportion as usual. I felt my blood boil. Nothing serious, are you kidding me? I saw the texts, I saw the calls. You're lying right now, pretending like I'm crazy. I know you're cheating on me, with Ryan. During the therapy sessions, you said you needed because you're so stressed and overwhelmed. Do you even hear yourself? She crossed her arms and looked at me with that bitchy, dismissive expression she always wore when she thought she was better than everyone else. Look, Mike, I don't have to explain myself to you. I've been stressed, yeah, but that doesn't mean I cheated. Maybe you're just imagining things. Maybe you're jealous or insecure as usual. That was it. I clenched my fists so hard I thought I might break something. Insecure. You're the one sneaking around behind my back, lying and cheating. I was trying to trust you, Lisa. I really was. But you've been lying to me for months. How long has this been going on? Did you even care about us anymore? Her eyes narrowed and she spat out. You think I'm the one who doesn't care? Maybe if you paid more attention, you'd see what's really going on. Maybe if you weren't so obsessed with checking my phone, you'd realize I have a life outside of this stupid marriage. That cut deep. I wanted to lash out, but I knew I had to stay calm, at least for now. Inside, I was a mess. The betrayal, the anger, the sadness, it was all too much. I looked at her, feeling like I didn't even know who she was anymore. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to shake her until she told me everything. But instead I just said, "You're lying right now. I'm not stupid. I know what I saw. I want you out of here, Lisa. I want you to leave and don't come back until you're honest with me." She looked at me like I was crazy, then laughed bitterly. "Fine, do what you want, but you're not going to ruin me, Mike. You're just jealous because I found someone who actually gives me what I need. Sex, attention, respect. You never did." That was the moment I realized things had gone so far beyond anything I could undo. I was crushed, furious, and feeling like my entire world was falling apart. I packed a bag, told her to leave, and told her I'd be staying at my brother's place for a while. She stormed out, shouting insults, blaming me for everything, as if she was the victim. I spent that night lying on the couch, staring at the ceiling, replaying her betrayal over and over. I couldn't believe I'd been so blind, so naive. How could she do this? How could she cheat on me with Ryan during therapy sessions meant to save our marriage? It felt like my entire life had blown up in my face, and I was left standing there, shattered and wondering what would come next. I knew I had to decide whether to fight for this marriage or finally accept that it was over. But one thing was clear: nothing was ever going to be the same again. The days that followed were a kind of nightmare. I stayed at my brother's place trying to keep myself busy, but honestly nothing could distract me from what I'd learned. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, her smug expression when she dismissed my concerns, her words about how I was just jealous or insecure. That bitch had played me so well, lying to my face for months, pretending everything was fine, then sneaking around behind my back with some kid I used to think of as harmless. I kept asking myself, how did I miss all this? How did I not see it coming? I knew Lisa was bitchy and manipulative, but I always thought she loved me, that she valued our life together. Turns out she'd been cheating on me during the very therapy sessions meant to fix us. I felt stupid, humiliated, and angry, so much anger I could barely breathe sometimes. I decided I needed to confront her again, but this time I wanted to be prepared. I started digging deeper into her phone, her social media accounts, trying to get more details. What I found was even worse. She'd been lying about her whereabouts, and there were messages from Ryan that she hadn't deleted. She told him she hated her marriage but felt trapped, that she was only staying for the kids or because she was too proud to admit she was a cheater. It was all so sickening. She convinced herself she was the victim, that I was the problem, not her. One afternoon, I got a text from my sister, Lisa's best friend, someone I'd trusted. She reached out, asking how I was doing, and subtly hinted she knew something. That's when I decided I had to confront Lisa directly, face to face. I arranged to meet her at her place, thinking maybe I could get some honest answers. But I knew that was a long shot. When I got there, the scene was even more infuriating. Lisa looked almost bored, like she didn't care that I was there. As soon as I stepped inside, she rolled her eyes and said, "What do you want now, Mike? You're wasting my time." I took a deep breath and laid it all out. I told her I knew about her affair with Ryan, that I'd seen the messages, the calls, the lies. She tried to deny it at first, giving her usual bullshit about how she was stressed and misunderstood, how I was paranoid or jealous. Then when I pressed her harder, she snapped. "Oh, please," she sneered. "You think I'm some innocent victim. You're pathetic. I can do better than you. Ryan's better in bed, and at least he listens to me. You're boring, always working, never paying attention. I needed someone who actually cares, unlike you." That's when I lost it. My blood boiled. All the rage I'd been suppressing spilled out. "You're a fucking liar. You've been cheating on me with him during our therapy sessions behind my back. Do you even hear yourself? Do you care that you're destroying everything we built?" She looked at me with pure contempt. "I don't care. Honestly, I never loved you that much anyway. This marriage was a mistake from the start. Ryan makes me feel alive. Maybe I should have left you a long time ago, but now I don't even care. I'm done pretending." I couldn't believe my ears. My wife, the woman I'd trusted, was confessing like it was nothing. It was like she was trying to hurt me, to rub salt in the wound. I felt like I was about to explode. All my feelings, pain, betrayal, anger, hit me at once, and I just stood there speechless. I told her to get out of my house, my life, and I meant it. I wanted her gone permanently. She scoffed and said she was going to take the kids and leave. I told her if she ever tried, I'd make sure she regrets it. I also told her I'd be talking to a lawyer. I wanted to end this nightmare, but I knew the damage was done. Nothing would ever be the same again. After she left, I felt empty, hollow. All I could think about was how she'd lied to me, how she betrayed everything we had. I sat alone in the living room, staring at the empty space where she used to be, wondering what the hell I'd done wrong, or if I'd done anything at all. I told myself I'd be okay, that I'd move on, but deep down I knew I'd carry this betrayal with me forever. Trust had been shattered, and I was left picking up the pieces. The next few weeks were a blur of legal meetings, trying to sort out the divorce, and dealing with the aftermath of everything. I threw myself into work, trying to drown out the constant thoughts of her betrayal. But no matter how busy I kept myself, the images kept coming back, her sneering at me, the messages from Ryan, all the lies she told to cover her tracks. It was like a poison that seeped into every corner of my mind. One night, I was sitting alone in my apartment, scrolling through her social media accounts, trying to piece together just how far she'd gone. That's when I saw a picture she'd posted, her at the therapist's office, smiling, but with a little caption about finally finding herself and letting go of the past. It made me sick. She was out there pretending to be the victim, acting like she was some misunderstood woman who just needed a little time to grow. Meanwhile, I was sitting here, feeling like I'd been punched repeatedly. I started questioning everything. Did she ever love me? Or was this just some elaborate game she was playing? I remembered all the times she dismissed me, called me insecure, said I was overreacting. And now I saw her for what she was, a selfish, manipulative bitch who thought she could walk all over me and get away with it. But I also knew I couldn't keep living in this anger forever. I realized I had to make a decision, whether to fight for the marriage or finally cut ties and move on. Honestly, part of me still loved her, even after all the lies. But I couldn't ignore the fact that she had completely disrespected me, us, everything we'd built. I was tired of feeling like a fool, tired of the constant pain. One afternoon, I sat down with my lawyer to start the divorce process. It was one of the hardest things I'd ever done, but I knew I had to do it. I needed closure, a clean break from the woman who had betrayed me so badly. As I signed the papers, I finally felt like I was taking control again, like I was reclaiming a part of myself I'd lost. In the days that followed, I started slowly rebuilding my life. I spent more time with friends, reconnected with old hobbies I'd abandoned, and even went to therapy myself, something I never thought I'd do. I needed to process everything, to understand how someone I loved could turn into this stranger. I kept asking myself, was I blind? Did I ignore the signs? Or was she just a master manipulator from the start? Looking back, I realize I learned a lot from this nightmare. Trust is fragile and it can be shattered in an instant. Never ignore your gut feelings, no matter how much someone tries to dismiss them. And always remember, people reveal who they really are over time. If something feels off, don't dismiss it just because you want to believe the best, because sometimes the worst comes when you least expect it. Now I'm slowly healing. I still get angry. Sometimes still wonder how I let it get so far. But I also know I deserve better. I deserve someone who respects me, who cares about honesty, who doesn't lie and cheat behind my back. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm finally moving forward, without her, without the betrayal. And honestly, that's the only way I see to start healing. It's been a few months now since I finalized the divorce, and I can honestly say I'm in a much better place, though I won't pretend the pain just disappeared overnight. There are days I still think about her, about everything she did, and I get angry all over again. But I also realize I've learned some serious lessons from this whole mess. One thing I've come to see clearly is how toxic some people can be, how they can lie, betray, and manipulate, then act like the victim when things blow up. Lisa wasn't just cheating on me. She was trying to rewrite the story, making herself out to be the wronged party while she was out there screwing around, sneaking around and lying to everyone, including me. It's a hard truth to swallow, but it's better to face it than keep living in some fantasy where people are perfect. I've also started trusting myself more. That's probably the biggest thing I've taken away. Before, I was so naive. I believed her, believed in the idea of us. Now I see that trust has to be earned, and it's fragile. If someone's hiding things, lying, or being manipulative, I need to pay attention. My gut is a lot sharper now, and I don't brush off red flags anymore. I've learned that silence and ignoring problems only let things fester. Confrontation is painful but necessary. More than anything, I realize how important it is to prioritize myself. I was so busy trying to fix the marriage, trying to keep her happy, that I forgot about my own needs. Now, I focus on my mental health, my career, and reconnecting with friends and family who genuinely care. I still have bad days, but they're fewer, and I'm learning to process the anger and sadness without letting it consume me. I've also started dating casually again, not because I'm ready to jump into something serious, but because I realize I deserve someone who respects me, who's honest, and who treats me like I matter. I'm not rushing, just taking it slow, one step at a time. The wounds are still there, but they're healing. If there's one thing I want anyone reading this to take away, it's this: don't ignore your instincts. If something feels off, dig deeper. Trust is everything, but it's also fragile. And if someone betrays that trust, the pain is awful, but it's also a chance to learn about them, about yourself, and about what you'll accept in your life moving forward. I won't pretend I've got all the answers. I'm still figuring it out day by day. But I do know one thing: I'm better off without someone who cheats, lies, and manipulates. I deserve honesty and respect, and I'm finally starting to believe I'll find it again. It's a long road, but I'm on it now, and I'm determined to keep moving forward. Looking back now, I realize how much I underestimated people's capacity for manipulation and betrayal. Lisa's betrayal shattered my sense of security and trust, but it also forced me to confront some hard truths about myself. I learned that I can survive the worst, that I'm stronger than I thought, and that sometimes walking away is the best choice you can make for your own sanity. The whole experience has left a scar, no doubt. There are moments when I still feel the sting of betrayal, the pain of feeling lied to for so long, but I also feel a strange sense of relief. I finally took control of my life, drew a line in the sand, and refused to let her actions define me. I've started rebuilding, piece by piece, and I know I'll be okay. Most importantly, I've come to understand the importance of boundaries, honesty, and self-respect. No matter how much you love someone, if they're willing to cheat and lie, they don't deserve a place in your life. I've learned to listen to my instincts and trust myself more. I refuse to let anyone manipulate or hurt me again. Now, I'm focusing on my future, on my happiness, my health, and my peace of mind. I don't regret what happened, because it's made me more aware and stronger. I can move forward knowing what I will and won't accept. I hope anyone out there going through their own betrayal knows this. You're not alone, and you're not powerless. you have the strength to walk away, to rebuild and to find something better. That's what I'm doing now, taking it day by day, learning to forgive myself for the times I ignored the signs, and reminding myself that I am worthy of honesty and respect. Life isn't about never getting hurt. It's about how you pick yourself up afterward. And I've finally started to do that.